Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 24th of December, 2024. And it's all nearly over. It is Christmas Eve. It is the day before Christmas, and not a mouse was making a sound or something in a house. Anyway, big shout out to Katrina and Billy and Unquiet Badger and One Angry Pagan and Leap Shin and Andrew Ray and Russell Cannon in the chat. Hello, everyone. If you would like to join them in the chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Pow, and then you can write whatever you like, pretty much, unless it's defamatory or bullying or trolling, and then you probably get banned off the channel. But it's all right, you can still watch. But that's about it. Anyway, so the super chats are open. The super chats are open, and it is Christmas. Just saying. But I realised yesterday, while I was doing my show about all the good news stories, that actually we're all a bunch of Grinches, and we don't really want the good news stories. We just want to slag people off who we don't like. So we've got to have a go at Elon Musk and Donald Trump today, because why not? It's Christmas. Why not just spend half an hour basically slagging them off and talking about the mutually assured destruction that is going to be the next 4 years of Elon Musk and Donald Trump's lives, because they are going to annihilate each other, I think, because they're both huge narcissists with completely unchecked power for both of them. And they both got arrested development. They both stopped developing around the age of 13. And mentally anyway. And they're both absolutely obscenely grotesque fascist bastards. So should be interesting. Kind of like if Mussolini was trying to tell Hitler what to do. I don't think Hitler would take it very well. Just, the way he was. He didn't listen to people very much, did he? Because he thought he knew best. He thought he knew better than all his generals, didn't he? And thank God for that, because as a result of him thinking that he knew better than all of his generals, World War II was lost for the Nazis. But they're having another go. These losers, these people who were always on the losing side of history, the Nazis in World War II, the Southerners in the Civil War in America. They're the ones, the Southers, they're the ones the Confederates. They're the ones who are running around now going, no, this time it'll work. And that's what people say about Brexit and communism. But Elon Musk presents a clear and present danger to the world, and so does Trump. Trump is talking about expanding America, this kind of like manifest, what's it called? The destiny, the manifest destiny, that's it. Jesus, of America to annex Canada and Greenland and the Panama Canal. I'm sorry, but what? He's like, we're not getting a good deal with the Panama Canal. Someone's told him that they charge boats for going through, but it's still cheaper than going all around Cape Horn, the southern point of South America. It's still cheaper than doing that in fuel. The amount of fuel you'd burn a couple of Olympic swimming pools worth of fuel going all the way around South America. So, the Panama Canal presents an opportunity for ships to not have to do that, and also cuts down the travel time from Florida to California on a ship to just a matter of a week or so, instead of literally a freaking month. It changes things. It changes things up. But my God, these bloody the idiots in charge. And Trump's going, oh yeah, we're gonna take over. We're gonna take over the Panama Canal zone. I'm thinking, there are a few things easier to sabotage in this world than a freaking canal. Do you know what I mean? It's already been sabotaged by climate change because there's not enough water in the canal. There's a lake up in the mountains called Lake Gatan, and it's an artificially created lake. It was created specifically for the canal, but they've had a drought in Panama over the last few years, and they don't have as much water as they did. Because this area of Panama, where Ginger Island is and everything, it's technically rainforest. I keep saying this. It gets so much water. It's ridiculous normally, under normal circumstances. But thanks to climate change, that water's either been, not as much. But also, you can look at the rainfall and go, but you're getting the same amount of rainfall. Why is it not why don't you have as much water? Well, it's like this. So if you have let's say you have an area that usually gets X amount of rain a week, right? And then suddenly, like almost overnight, it stops getting that rain every week and gets it once a month. So once a month, you have an absolute downpour. Now, the problem with that is that for the month that it hasn't been raining, the mud, the ground hardens, and so when it does rain, that water can't absorb. The ground can't absorb the water as easily. This is what we saw in Spain earlier this year with those horrific pictures from Valencia. It's just, heartbreaking scenes in which people died, lots of people died, and this torrent of water coming down these streets, and you saw the aftermath. It looked like an AI-generated image. It wasn't. It was real for a change. But that's what happened. So essentially, in some parts of Panama, that's what's happening there. So they might be getting the same amount of rain, but the water is not being soaked into the soil. It's just literally washing away off the top of the soil into the sea. So it's not a great situation. And Trump wades into this, and he looks at the situation in Panama. Someone's sat next to him and goes, "Oh, would you actually hear the story about the Panama Canal?" And he's gone, "Oh, yes, please tell me the story of the Panama Canal." Like, he's never given a shit about the Panama Canal before, like last week. He is a child. He's just an absolute child. His particular fixation this week is like, he feels aggrieved. He is the manifestation of aggrieved America, because this famous line, when you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. And you've got to think about the American psyche, that for years they've been number one. They've been number one in the world. And now, unopposed, absolutely unopposed. And now they've got China nipping at their heels. They've got the EU nipping at their heels, economically and in terms of power as well. I mean, America's not what it was. It was absolutely humiliated in Afghanistan. It spent 20 years saying it was getting rid of the Taliban and failed to do that. And now who's in charge of Afghanistan? The Taliban. I'm saying, like, that's quite a hit for America's psyche, because it was used to being at this privileged position of being the most powerful country in the world, the richest country in the world, the country with the best everything in the world. And it's slipping down those rankings. I mean, move away from the economy for a moment. Look at the healthcare system. It's one of the worst in the world for outcomes. The longevity, like the lifespan of the average American, is going down. The wages for people, for the amount of work they do, has stagnated for years, while CEOs and billionaires make shitloads more money. And you can see why. When you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. And these Americans are this, not all Americans, hashtag not all Americans, but enough of them are this kind of mentality of being a butthurt, a grievance that they have against the world, against everything. And so they go out looking for things and saying that's unfair. Trump likes to do this with NATO, which he thinks is a big pot of money, that all these countries put money in this big pot of money, and that's how it works. It's not. It's a percentage of the GDP of that country to be spent on military spending. It was an aspirational goal created by Barack Obama. It wasn't even created by Trump. And most countries in NATO at the moment are actually fulfilling that and wanting to go even further with the constant threat of Russia, and also the threat of Trump pulling out of NATO. And then there's the obviously the Panama thing, but the tariff thing as well. Again, it's the politics of grievance. It's the politics of being a butthead man baby, which is what Trump is. And he's just going to go, these countries are taking the piss out of us, selling us things that we need at a cheap price. How dare they? How bloody dare they? We should make those iPhones in America, which would cost $15,000 an iPhone. But, we should make them in America because, yes. Sarah Davis, £5 super chat. Thank you so much, Sarah. That is really kind of you. Merry Christmas, Graham. Oh, Merry Christmas to you, Sarah, as well. We've got Spang Flaps in the chat saying worst partnership since Palpatine stroke Vader. The Chuckle Brothers, the Fuckle Brothers more like. Know what I mean? That's from Billy Kershaw. Oh, actually, Vendetta's put the Fuckle Brothers right underneath that. Sorry, Vendetta. Stole your joke there before you made it. Before I read it. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Graham. Merry Christmas, says Sarah Davis. Tariffs on runoff. I wonder how many staff he will burn through this time, Trump, that is. Well, I mean, he's nominated people for roles in his government, like Matt Gaetz, who resigned before even taking the role because they knew what was coming with the House Select Committee's ethics report. Sorry, the ethics committee. The report into just his scumbaggery. Just utter scumbag. There's just... Everyone in Trump's orbit is just such a shit, such an almighty shit. The stuff they get up to, and it's all that, the decadent shit that Republican voters think that the Democrats get up to, in their imagination. They're like, oh, they're all vampires, they're all decadent, they're all running around with their, all their money and pissing on everyone else. And it's just, When we were talking last night, I don't know if you watched Stateside, but me and Mikey were talking, and he was saying about the Democrats not being liberal, and he's right. But something that I thought of, after you have a discussion about something or an argument, you tend to think of something that you really should have said on the way home. It was a bit like that last night because I thought, bloody hell, why don't you say, but America is conservative? Like, America is a conservative country. It always has been. It's never been a bastion of liberal values. You might be able to argue that certain pockets of New York, Greenwich Village, or San Francisco in the West are particularly liberal beacons. Maybe Chicago as well. Maybe Key West in Florida. But overall, America is a conservative country and it's a democracy, and that conservatism is reflected in the way people vote. And you can say, well, it's a two-party system and that's not fair. But most countries boil down to a two-party system of either the liberals on one side and the conservatives on the other. And yeah, you might get countries where you have more than one party running the country. But those parties will usually, invariably, be a liberal grouping or a conservative grouping, and it just depends which side of those has got the most people to put together in their respective parliaments to make that grouping work. It's a duality. It just seems to always go that way, and I as much as I'd like to see voting reform in the UK at the moment, I'm looking at how Refuck are doing, and if we keep the first past the post system, based on the current numbers, they're going to just eat into the Tory vote, so they're going to end up with hardly any. The Tories are going to end up with hardly any MPs again, and Refuck are going to end up with hardly any MPs again because you'll get a situation where 22% of the population votes for Refuck, 23% vote for the Tories, and 33% vote for Labour. Labour win massively in a first past the post system in that case, but in a system that has ranked voting or proportional representation, you might end up in a situation where Refuck go in with the Tories and have over 50% of the vote as a result, or 45% of the vote as a result. I mean, not great. And I know that we can make an argument that more people are progressive in this country. And yes, they are. I think slightly more people are progressive in this country. We do have a strong socialist bent in this country which I don't think America has. I might be wrong. I'm sure there are socialists in America, lots of them, probably making a lot of noise. But when it comes down to voting demographics, people tend to vote conservative over there. So you have Conservative Light, which is the Democrat Party, and then you have the Fascists, which is the MAGA Republican Party. So yeah, I'm a little less concerned about Refuck doing well in the next election, and I'm more concerned that if they do as well as they're doing at the moment, this might be a high watermark for them at the moment, kind of like honeymoon period. If we have a proportional representation system, I worry about how much power they will have, and they are out and out fascists. The Ticers and the Farages of this world they're just rich pricks. I mean, they're rich, privileged, privately educated gobshites who have this politics of feeling aggrieved about everything. Everything's the fault of the EU. Everything's the fault of trans people. Everything is the fault of immigrants. Everything's the fault of X. And these people can't just enjoy their lives because they bristle at the fact that other people are enjoying their lives. How dare they? People who aren't rich are enjoying their lives. That disgusts them, and they want it to stop. They want to destroy that. They want to crush the system that allows them to have that. They just want an oligarchy. They just want power, the privilege. They want the nice things in life, and they don't want anyone else to have those same nice things. In the same way that a music snob will say that they liked a band until other people started liking them, and then they stopped liking them because they got too popular. It's a bit like that, but on a more horrific scale. Peter Carter, Merry Christmas to all from Fuerteventura. Oh, I'm so jealous. Someone should buy a Trump and Pinocchio outfit, Musk's puppet, who lies all the time, and his nose grows. I do think Project Trump 2.0 will crash and burn, says Gareth T. I'm getting more optimistic by the day that the Trump administration is going to crash and burn. I don't think they're going to be able to do a lot of the shit that they want to do. I'm still very concerned about the executive privilege he will enjoy, the fact that he is going to be above the law, and nothing that he does he'll ever face any criminal sanctions for. That means the guardrails are off as far as the vendettas, the petty vendettas he has against the people he sees as wronging him, like Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Kamala Harris, a lot of women that he wants to kill, basically. He's alluded to wanting to get Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad, for fuck's sake. I mean, seriously? Wow. But there you go. Mikey. Oh, hi, Mikey. I was just talking about you. Hey, how you doing, mate? Labour are 0.5% ahead of the Tories, says Gary Arnold. David, the classic fascist playbook, chapter 1, othering. Yeah, those people are the cause of all your problems. And it's particularly galling when some of the people who have been othered or are being othered at the moment, like immigrants or Jewish people or Muslim people, are joining in with this. They join in with this. I'm like, this is... And so you get disgusting privately educated lowlifes like Loza Fox, Lawrence Fox, who got a gig on TV because his daddy's rich and was an actor. And so, he should be an actor too, apparently. This is a guy who went to Harrow and squandered his education because he could. He didn't need to really learn stuff at Harrow. All he needs to do is just go there, and all those doors will be open to him. If you don't believe me and you still haven't looked at this list, go to privateschoolmafia.com, because I am sick and tired of people going, oh, it's not that bad, especially when the people saying that went to private school themselves and are doing quite well for themselves. Thank you very much. And they're like, you exaggerate, Graham. It's not like they have 99% of the power. Go and have a look on Private School Mafia and see how many names you recognise. It's nearly all of them. And it's people who have the good jobs. They absolutely steal all the good jobs from everybody else. They're cuckoos. They push everyone else out the nest. All the other eggs out the nest. If you're working class, good luck getting a top job in the film and TV industry. You will be a runner probably for the rest of your life, or an assistant director. Not a director, an assistant to director, which basically goes and gets the director's tea. I'm sorry if there's any assistant directors who will be offended by that, but the assistant director is essentially an assistant to the director. They go and do whatever the director needs them to go and do. And that's a sort of working class relationship, the Ted and Ralph kind of relationship that a lot of filmmakers in this country and TV producers and things like that, TV directors, editors have that relationship where the posh person gets to be the showrunner, they get to be the director, they get to be the screenwriter, and their assistant will be, the common person who went to a comp, which is 93% of us went to a state school. Not all of us went to comps. Some of us went to grammar schools, but at least we didn't pay for our education. Loza Fox already attacking Refuck, saying they have a Muslim as their treasurer or something, or someone who doesn't share British values because they're Muslim. This is Lawrence Fox on Twitter. the cesspool, the cesspit that is Twitter. I'm still waiting to get approval for my petition to ban Twitter. No X, please. We're British. Hopefully that's going to kick in the new year. Fingers crossed. And when it does, we are going to go hell for leather to try and get as many signatures on that as possible. I hope you'll join us. And what oncoming says, Liz and Professor Tim got the privilege and so defended it. Yeah, they did. When I was on the Sunday roast the other day, they totally did. And to be fair to Alex, who's also privately educated, he actually stood on my side of the fence and said, no, it is unfair. It's completely disproportionately unfair on people who didn't go to private schools. And then to be told that, it's just the politics of envy, I'm like, yeah. Some people have watched that chat and gone, you did well to keep a lid on that, Graham. And I'm like, yeah, it's Christmas. I like to keep it civil. Anyway, is it okay to have mince pies for breakfast today? Asking for a friend. Mike, my friend, listen to me. Come here. It is okay. It is perfectly acceptable to have mince pies for breakfast every day of the year. If you want. When you're a kid and you think, I can't wait till I'm older. I can just eat flumps for breakfast. I've got a bag of flumps here. I can just eat flumps for breakfast. And then you become an adult and you don't. I think that's a waste. I think we should. All those things we want to do as kids. It's now cool to call Twitter X Twitter. We need to investigate if Elon is selling rockets to the Chinese. That may be the real reason for the canal troubles. Jesus Christ. Because the canal, just to go back to Panama for a moment, the canal charges by weight. So as you go through, you get a pilotage. So you have to pay for a local pilot to come on board your ship as you pass through the Panama Canal. There are some bits of the Panama Canal that are exceedingly narrow, the Miraflores locks, which are, part of that. Now, the Panamanian government itself spent millions on expanding the locks at Miraflores, which are the locks near Panama City, just by the gateway to America, the gateway to the Americas Bridge. And it now means that ships which are bigger than Panamax, so there were standard sizes for shipping, and the biggest one was called Panamax, and it was the length and the width of the locks at Miraflores in Panama, right? And that was standard for shipping all over the world. They would say this is a Panamax ship. And then there was post-Panamax, which is something that was bigger, that would never have to go through the Panama Canal. But now that the Panamax the new Panamax has got bigger because of these new locks at Miraflores that were paid for by the Panamanian government, by the Panamanian people, by the revenue that they could have spent on, I don't know, disco balls and parties. They spent it on expanding the canal to allow more traffic through and bigger ships through, because obviously ships are getting bigger and bigger all the time, because it makes more sense just to have one ship going from one country to another with 20,000 containers on it than having 20 ships with 1,000 containers on it. It's more efficient that way. And it's just the way global shipping works. But it's based on the weight. So first of all, you've got the pilotage, you've got to pay for that. And then you've got to pay for the weight of whatever you're taking through. So I can imagine if they're taking rockets, which I assume weigh a lot of tons, they weigh a lot of stuff. I assume they have to pay a lot to get that stuff through the Panama Canal. But fine, don't use the Panama Canal then. Just go around the outside. But the idea that the Americans are going to invade Panama and take back over the Panama Canal, I mean, you can quote me on this in a couple of years' time, but it's ridiculous. It's for the birds. It's ridiculous. It's an insane notion that he's going to do this, and he's being pushed into it by Elon Musk. I mean, that's so pathetic. And yeah, a canal is a very easy thing to sabotage. Like, a very, very easy thing to sabotage is a canal. And you don't have to have some fancy, nanotechnology shit going on, like in Three-Body Problem. Spoilers. You just, honestly, if you want to take out a ship on the Panama Canal, there's a bit where, it's in a lock. They can't open that end of the lock because the water's too high, and they can't open this side of the lock because the water's too low. Do you know what I mean? Like, the boat is trapped there for a while. And that's when you can do your thing, I think. Anyway, I was watching The Body Problem going, why have they made this so complicated? This is just a big scene because he wants the big scene. Anyway, he also wants to conquer Canada and Mexico and Greenland and Earth, says Mikey Famine. Yes, Canada, he's threatened to make it into the 51st and 52nd state for some reason. He wants two states of Canada. And he's going on about Greenland. He wants to take over Greenland. I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers on every conceivable front. But yeah, Trump is a thin-skinned narcissist, and so is Musk. And this is where my hope lies. I just can't see them getting along much longer, because Trump is going to bristle at the fact, especially after last week's performance when Musk decided to tank a bill because it was giving $200 million towards researching childhood cancer. And don't forget, that research that would have been carried out with that $190 million, it wouldn't have just benefited kids in America who developed cancer. It would have helped kids all over the world. And I just think it's a bit rich of these people who share stories, heartbreaking stories about children with cancer on Facebook and then say that they're going to vote for Trump. Okay. So what do you want to do? Do you want to help children with cancer, or do you want to make the bad situation worse? Make it so there's no chance of them surviving, you know? Not even give them a fair go at staying alive. Because this is what the people who voted for Trump voted for. They voted to fuck everyone who's not them. And that includes kids with cancer. And this is the reality that we're going to be living with for the next 4 years. We're going to see more and more of these programs. And don't forget, Robert F. Kennedy, who's going to be put in charge of healthcare in America, wants to stop research into diseases because he doesn't think diseases exist. He doesn't think germs exist. I mean, the guy's a fucking knobhead. He's so stupid. He's like, it's off the charts how thick Robert F. Kennedy is. He had a brain worm, didn't he? He had a worm in his brain, which kind of explains a lot. But the guy is a complete certified, possibly inbred moron, the product of this elite oligarchy, the royalty of America. I mean, he's effectively a crown prince of America because he's a Kennedy. And that family and that family dynasty, I mean, they've always been traditionally Democrat. But he's the black sheep. He's the black sheep of the family. But it's not enough for these lunatics to go, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna vote for economic measures that make rich people richer because that's what I believe in. It's not enough for them to do that. They've also got to screw over everyone who is in any way tangentially, like, you know, better off because of the things that liberals have tried to put in place over the last X many years. And that includes gay marriage. That includes adoption. You know, there's going to be a big issue when Trump declares that all the gay marriages null and void in America, which is something he might do. And what happens then to the children who have been adopted by gay couples? I mean, come on. Mikey Famine, he grew up in a house literally named Camelot. Yep, indeed. There's a clip of Trump trying to downplay Elon. The crowd laughed a little too hard. You could see him seethe. Indeed. The Witchy Goth, morning all, late to the party. My eyelids were stuck. Oh God, conjunctivitis. I hope not. Merry Christmas to all. Blessed be. So we've got a couple of minutes before I round up, because round off. Sign off, whatever. It's 10 o'clock now. So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting this channel over the last few months, over the last few years for some people. I hope you've enjoyed most of it. What I'm going to be doing over the next week or so, we're going to be doing shows. We're probably not going to do a Geoscope tonight because it's Christmas Eve. But I'll do a show tomorrow on Christmas Day. Hey, it's Christmas. So look out for that. I don't know what time it will be. It'll kind of depend on when the kids open their presents and stuff, if it settles down. If we can do a 9:30 show tomorrow, I will do a 9:30 show tomorrow, because no rest for the wicked, and I need the money. Simple as that. Anyway, so from Bob Cratchit over here, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. But yeah, I do want to talk to you as one of the viewers of this channel about what we can do in the new year on this channel to make it better, to make it more inclusive, to get more people watching, to get more people interacting. So if you've got any ideas, that would be great if you'll share them with us. You can either do that in the chat, or if you are a member of this channel. If you are a patron, you should have access to the wonderful world of Discord, and you can put some stuff in there. Graham, Christmas speech. Yeah, I'll do a Christmas speech. I did one last year. I watched it back. I watched them a Christmas speech from last year back. I was like, bloody hell, that's amazing. Like it was all done pretty much in one take. I think there's maybe one edit in it, and that was just because of a technical problem that I had. But I actually did it all in one. It's about 10 minutes long. It's insane. It's like my wish list of all the things I'd like to see for Christmas. I sat there while my family were having like Christmas dinner and stuff, and I was making little notes. I was making a little note to like my Christmas wish list. I actually ended up filming it at like midnight or something. Catherine was asleep. And I'm there going, I want this for Christmas and this for Christmas. I don't know if I'll do that again. I might do. Depends if I get inspired. Really done well this year, Graham. I wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Oh, that's from Faves. Thank you very much. Oh, and Veg Pie just dropped £5 in the Super Chat fund. Thank you for the Christmas Super Chat. Veg Pie, that's very kind of you. Merry Christmas, Graham. Oh, Merry Christmas to you as well, Veg Pie. And yeah, great seeing you at the conference this year. We watched Starmer's speech together, didn't we? And thanks for supporting the channel over the years. Chat, you stay safe and have a great time tomorrow, it says Alice Durham. Badger Cratchit. Enjoy whatever festivities you celebrate, folks, as Unquiet Badger. Alice Durham says Badger. Julian Hope saying Merry Christmas. Cathal saying Merry Christmas. See you around. Space Cowboys says Mikey Famine, who probably should go to bed. It must be like 3 o'clock in the morning over there. RFK is the US Neanderthal. He is! A very good point, David. I hadn't picked up on that before, but you're absolutely right. Let's create Brick a Tesla Day. That's a very good idea, David. Anyway, so listen, if I don't see you before, have a absolutely wonderful Christmas. Check in on your friends, please, especially people who might be feeling lonely this time of year, or might have reasons to not celebrate it as much as everybody else. Just check in, just give them a call, give them a shout, text them first. You can't call people these days, can you? Because you got your phone on you and you're usually doing something and people call you. So text them first and say, hey, you want to chat? How you doing? And keep in touch. Make a list of your friends, some maybe that you haven't seen for a while, and give them a shout and just see how they're getting on and make that reconnection. Because I think a lot of us sort of rely on Facebook to find out what our friends are doing, and it's the squeaky wheel, isn't it? It's the people who post a lot. You know a lot about their lives, but it's the people who don't post. You don't know. You haven't got a clue what's going on. So yeah, get in touch, give them a call, your friends and family that you might not have seen for a while, and just say hello, because it's nice. It's nice to have the distraction. Russell Cannon, thank you very much. Oh, thank you, sir, for the £10 super chat. That's really kind of you. Merry Christmas, Graham, and thanks for all your work. Oh, cheers, mate, and thanks for coming along the other week. Really appreciate it. Okay, so see you all on the other side, folks. Love to the family, says PUFC Mike, and Merry Christmas to you too, sir. And Martin Harrow, thanks everyone for a pocket of sanity in this mad world. Well, that's what we hope to offer on this and our friends' channels. There's a good gang of us that have got together to be making all this stuff. And although we work sort of individually, we love helping each other out. And we created a nice little community, a nice little pocket of the internet where things are slightly more sane than only slightly more sane than the rest of the internet at the moment, the rest of life at the moment. So listen, have a great holidays, have a great Christmas, Yuletide, whatever you celebrate, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow for a special Christmas Day broadcast. And until then, I'll say thanks for watching, give us a like on the way out, and until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.